Welcome all. Hi everyone. So continuing on the next session of next set of questions, that is 6 to 10 from techniques, methods and approaches of pedagogy, subject for the second semester B.Ed. So this is mostly, these questions might be from one particular university, but then these are mostly the curriculum or syllabus of most of the universities, whether it is from Karnataka, Andhra, or Maharashtra. Most of them are very common, and they can be leveraged or utilized for any of the universities or any of the examinations. So let's start with the first question. That is the question number 6. What is reference books? Explain its use and types. Again, I would say that if you are interested to listen to the voiceover, you can listen, or if you can just mute and just want to go through yourself, go by yourself, that also is fine. A reference book is a book which contains useful information in very organized manner to give you a complete information about topic. It's kind of a reference book. Normally what references is, it's comprehensive and authoritative source of information that serves as a valuable tool for quick access to facts. This contains, these are these are not exactly the textbooks, but these are additional upon to that, where you can refer apart in addition reference books, like for example, encyclopedia is not exactly a textbook. Dictionaries are not exactly a textbook. So what? But then thesaurus is not a textbook. Atlases are not exactly a textbook. But then what happens is you are referring, for instance, if you are learning social studies and you want to know about a particular geographical location, you refer the atlas, right? For a map, see what map, what country, where it is located, what continent it is. So you refer the atlas. Similarly, encyclopedias, or a dictionary, when you want to know some details about a word, right? So, or a detail of something, then you refer them for additional knowledge. Similarly, there are bibliographies, style guides, gazetteers, or yearbooks, almanacs, each catering to specific need and areas of interest. They are meticulously curated by experts. These are not done by any coming up for with a thesaurus or encyclopedia is not just any amateur's work. It has to be done by expert in their respective field, whichever it is, and they are a solid source of reference or information for additional knowledge if someone wants to. What are the uses of reference book? For quick access, easy access to information, comprehensive coverage of topics, authoritative and reliable information, something like that can be the uses of reference books. So we can take a while and go through the questions. I'll move to the next one. 7th, and explain the role of teachers in improving the course outcomes. So the course outcome is normally your expectation is in general layman's term, which actually is not the basic objective of education, is not to get more and more distinctions and students pass, but then there is a course and it has an outcome. So what is an expected outcome, and what the role of the teacher is in improving it, is actually basically the question. Historically, most of the teachers restrict their role in teaching, but teacher plays multiple roles in the schools. The role of teacher is assessed in terms of his or her attendance in the class, completion of course, whether the course was completed in due course of time, the interpersonal relationship in the school. When we say course outcome, it's totality of teaching, how well the teaching process was in terms of a given period and its results. The various roles that teacher plays are as below. You can write at least 5 or 6 of it. It's not needed to write all of them for a 5 marks question. Teaching. So what is the role of teacher? Teaching is a primary role, right? So there are many secondary roles, but primary teaching is teaching. The teacher has to be very good in the basic fundamental quality to teach well, so that the subject matter is nicely processed by the students. Organizing, whether it is curricular activity or co-curricular activity, teachers should be good in organizing, guiding, planning, utilizing leisure time effectively. So counseling, all these are various roles which will help the teacher. If the qualities are there, will help the course outcomes, like, education in terms of the students will learn new things and educate themselves effectively. Go to the next question. Explain the concept of system approach with its types. So system is a set of interrelated, interdependent elements. The system approach is a term that means to do something systematically, to teach systematically. Teacher must consider input. So it's like, we asked what are the inputs and how that process and what process goes on and what is the outcome of it or what is the output of it. So this is we teach it like a system. So what the generally adapting, there are generally in adopting system approach, the following steps are employed. Okay. System approach helps understanding, controlling, and improving. So you are teaching it as a system, like in a software or a controlled manner. You are trying to give an input. For example, there is a machine. You give some input to it. For example, there is a mill. We'll just take a flour mill. You're putting the wheat or barley or jawar or ragi into the mill. That is your input. The process is that it grinds the grains in a fine manner, and it grinds and grinds and grinds until you get an output of a flour that comes out of the process. So the same approach has to be taken into education, wherein there is an input and how well that input is and what kind of a system it is and what process is involved and what is the output of it. Organisms are all open systems since they cannot survive without continuous exchange matter, energy, environment around them. Open systems is that they interact with system outside themselves. Just go through this question by yourselves to understand more and go to the next question. What is inductive method of teaching? Explain its merit and demerits. Inductive approach to teaching is student-driven form of instruction. It's student-driven, not teacher-driven. So in the inductive method of instruction, teachers feed students example while letting them draw their own conclusion. So this is followed by discussion and, if necessary, course adjustments and contract. So they're coming, it's like constructive method. It follows that, wherein they are coming up with their own theories or our own understanding, to be precise. Teacher check if student understand the meaning of its use, checking students understanding of listening text, and only then they do continue using examples of text to understand the rules and forms, use of sounds and pronunciation. Merits of inductive teaching method are: the method helps in developing scientific attitude among students, very logical and psychological kind of teaching science, By this method, students get various opportunities to play an active role in learning. Inductive method is more realistic as it is based on facts, whereas demerits, all topics of science cannot be dealt with this method properly. Method can only be used when teacher have much time for teaching process. Inductive method is costly and requires a lot of times. So these are some of them. You can just have a look at the others as well. What is performance task? 10th question, or the last question from this session, would be what is performance task? Explain its characteristics. I'll come from the characteristics first. Task provide evidence of understanding via transfer. Performance task establish novel, authentic context of performance. Performance on open-ended are evaluated. So what is a performance task? Performance task is a learning activity or assessment that asks students to demonstrate their knowledge. So normally what we are doing is we are asking students to demonstrate what they have learned in a following unit or a given period of time. And then we are going to assess it, like how well they have understood, or what is their proficiency in that particular task that is performed. So this is what is performance task. characteristics involved are tasks provide evidence of understanding via transfer. So what the task, once it is done, so once it is evaluated or assessed, so it gives an understanding, and it gives an evidence that this is the proof that this much has been understood, this much has been taught, or this much has been grasped. Performance task call for the application of knowledge and skills, not just recall a recognition. Performance tasks are open-ended and typically do not yield a single or correct answer. They are different responses to tasks that still meet success criteria. So these are all the points or characteristics. You can go through that. So we have completed 10 questions in first session, and this is the second session. We have 2 or 3 sessions more wherein we have these possible questions that might come up for the exam that have been regularly coming up. So stay tuned and happy learning, and do subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much.